Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are checking out Fright Night, the 1985 horror. I think it's a comedy movie as well. I don't know actually, but I'm pretty sure it's a vampire movie because there's a giant cloud that looks like a vampire on the poster, and then also the F and T in Fright look like vampire fangs. So I think this is a vampire movie. Also, this movie was recommended to me a lot when I watched The Lost Boys on my channel a couple months ago. I think it was like four months ago or something like that. This movie was recommended a lot, and I wanted to save it to Halloween because I thought it would be a good Halloween movie to watch. For the longest time I thought this movie was a Disney movie. It's not on Disney Plus, however the new version is, so I'm not really sure if it even is a Disney movie. I thought this was a kids Disney movie for ages, but it's 16 plus, so it's actually it's not a kids movie. So it's definitely already exceeded my expectations because I thought that this was a kids movie going into it. And yes, this is a vampire movie. I don't know it's a vampire movie, but I'm like 99% sure it is a vampire movie just because of fangs and Fright, the giant vampire face in the background, and then also because it was recommended to me on The Lost Boys, which was also a vampire movie. So I think this is a vampire movie. Vampire movies are not my favorite genre of horror. They're not my favorite kind of creatures of horror. I don't know, there's just something about them that I'm not like the biggest fan of. However, I've heard good things about this movie. I did enjoy The Lost Boys, so I'm excited to check this one out. And before we get into this movie, let me do the lighting. So let me turn on the light and then we can decide what color it should be. Boop. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so the lighting today, I'm going to go blue. And I'm going blue because the poster is blue. And if you watched my Hellraiser video, which was the last video to come out, you'll know that the poster was blue in Hellraiser, and I chose red because I thought there was going to be lots of red in it. And there was red in it, but blue would have been a better color because there was lots of blue light, and so the poster did not lie when it came to the color choice. So I'm going to trust this poster. I'm going to trust the giant blue aesthetic on this poster and not go for the red-orange title like I did with Hellraiser, and I'm going to go blue and hope that the poster is not lying to me this time. Anyways, let's just dive on into this movie. I hope you enjoy my reaction to Fright Night. Hey, Tom Holland. I think he did Chucky.
It's chilly out here.
He did Child's Play, right?
No, it isn't.
Cool.
Beautiful.
That was awesome too with the title. Hey, I know that guy. I know that composer.
Come. Lay your head on my breast.
I thought this was actually happening. I love that it's a movie. Little subversion of expectations there. Guys, you're not on the bed. Okay, so Fright Night's like an actual TV thing. That's cool.
Stop it!
Charlie, she did say stop it.
You mean it?
Eyes wide open. Just two lads carrying a coffin, nothing suspicious.
So am I. Do you want to make love or not?
Amy, this is actually happening.
You gotta see this.
He just yelled at you for not wanting, for you not wanting to make love. So why would he not? So obviously there has to be something.
Night, Amy. Thanks for helping Charlie with his homework. Anytime.
Yeah, they did not do homework.
Charlie?
No way. Amy, calm down, okay? He's actually like looking at some people carrying a coffin.
Night behind the railroad yards. Details are pending, awaiting notification of...
Is that man in the coffin? No, wait, they found him. So it's obviously not the man in the coffin. Pretend I didn't say anything.
You won. Only you're the one failing trig, not me.
I like that guy. I like that guy. And his car looks like a mushroom from Minecraft. Like a red and white cow. What? Did someone die.
Prostitute.
Not talking to you on the phone.
Positively identified as
Charlie, are you listening?
That's the lady, right? Is that the lady that he saw?
Both of them had their heads chopped off. Can you believe it?
You're sick.
Heads chopped off. This guy's kind of a psycho. Amy, I know you're having like a heartfelt discussion with him, but like,
I can't stand it.
why are you acting like this? Why? Like, there's definitely a reason that he's drawn to the TV. It's not just he's trying to ignore you. Mr. Vampire guy, looking all angry. I'm assuming he's a vampire. I could be just wrong. You're so dead, lady. You're so dead. You're about to have 0 head. You didn't think about closing the windows before you were gonna eat this person? Really long fingernails as well. I love it. Even if you were just gonna have sex with this person though, why wouldn't you close the windows? Well, that's either a body or a big pile of leaves, and I don't think it's the second one.
You forgot something.
Did you turn into a bat, do you think?
What are you?
Charlie ran faster than he's ever ran before.
Do you see what that means?
Wait, let me guess. What?
He's a vampire.
A what?
Charlie, you sound insane.
Charlie, is this some sort of a trick to get me back?
How would pretending that the neighbors have killed someone and that they're vampires be a trick to get you back, Amy?
They're full of trash.
Amy?
Here, let me show you.
Look, the bag I saw had a body in it, not trash.
Amy? Like his girlfriend?
Actually,
Huh?
see the body, Charlie?
What if she's a vampire? Oh, what if?
Sleep of the undead.
Ooh. What are you talking about?
He's a vampire. Uh-oh. I saw him.
Okay, your whole case is just falling through the window.
Vampire.
Sure, and I'm Dirty Harry. Now let me tell you something, kid. If I ever catch your ass down at the station house again, I'm throwing it in jail forever.
Look, Lieutenant, please.
You can't do that. What? You can't just go, I see you in the station, you're going to jail forever.
Next door to me, and he's gonna kill me if I don't protect myself.
What?
I love him. I love evil.
Say a blessing over it first.
That's it?
I'm afraid so. But your best protection right now,
What about a giant wooden stake through the heart?
without being invited by the rightful owner first.
Are you sure about that?
Positive.
Yeah. That's how it worked in Lost Boys. Okay, but the mother's gonna let him in. We all know this.
For a minute, please. There's someone I'd like you to meet.
Oh yeah, here he is.
Hello, Charlie.
He's even dressing like a vampire. I don't know why.
Yeah, Mom, I'm fine. I just gotta get back to my trig.
What if he bites the mom?
Meet you, Charlie. See ya. Soon.
I love the vampire. What the heck? I love him so much. He's actually so cool. Why would you leave your bedroom? Where's your garlic? Huh? Where's your garlic? Did you not listen to Evil at all? Oh my gosh. Why are you so creepy? He's like, I'm about to go eat your son. See ya. Where's the cross? Why are you not wearing the cross? Don't you remember that you left your door open? Come on, where's your memory? Oh, that is so cool. What a shot. Look at that, look at that. Oh my gosh.
Then I'd have to kill her too.
Right up!
Okay. Thought you were gonna just kill him quietly, but no, you decided to throw him into his closet.
I could give you something I don't have. Choice.
Okay, what's the choice?
Forget about me, Charlie.
Oh yeah. Okay, obviously. Is he gonna get beheaded under the window, or is he gonna get chucked out the window? Yeah, wooden stake. A stake to the heart. A pencil is technically a wooden stake, right? Vampires hate pencils. Ew. Ah, that was gross. Ah, that was really gross. Whoa, that looks cool though. That looks really cool.
Charlie, can you hear me?
So he got super angry and he turned into his true form. Why didn't the vampire just kill them both? He said he would kill his mom, threatened to kill the mom. Does he like the mom or something? Is that why? I feel like that is not why. What are you gonna do to him tomorrow night? I wanna know. Charlie, sleep easy tonight. He's coming for you tomorrow.
Wolves, bats, and I have always won.
He's such a fake. He's like Lockhart in Harry Potter.
Mr. Vincent!
Aw, man, he's actually seeking for his help.
Apparently all they want are demented madmen running around in ski masks, hacking up young virgins.
Slasher genre, baby.
That's nice. If only there'd been a few more of you, perhaps my ratings would have been higher.
Oh my god, shut up.
If you would excuse me. But Mr. Vincent, you have to believe me. I'm telling the truth.
You need like proof. You can't just say vampires and then expect everyone to believe you.
He's gonna be back after me tonight, Mr. Vincent. And if I don't get help, he's gonna kill me. Mr. Vincent!
What a fraud. Mr. Vincent is such a fraud.
Amy, what are we gonna do? This is just like Fright Night.
Now for the 2 o'clock news.
This is just like Fright Night.
See that? I don't have any choice. Somebody has to stop him.
And another one's dead. You heard on the news.
Then he'll be able to suck his way through the entire town. Not that it would be much of a loss.
I love him.
I love you, Charlie.
Hey, Amy, come on.
Okay, but you didn't answer his question. It's hard to believe your story, I'm gonna be honest.
Really? What could be more important than my autograph?
Oh my god, so full of himself.
I do hope it's not a friend of yours.
Yeah, she's got the hots for the creep. Amy!
We need your help to stop him, Mr. Vincent.
I love Amy and Evil. I don't know, they're so good. And they feel like friends.
You know, like an orgy of the damned, where you looked in the mirror.
Orgy of the Damned. Evil is having the time of his life right now, and he is my favorite character. He's so fun.
Thank you. Charlie Brewster, I presume Peter Vincent Vampire Killer.
I presume you guys met. You guys met. I love this guy, and I hate him at the same time.
There is the lair of the suspected creature of the night.
There.
He's in a role right now. You can see him pretending to be this vampire hunter, you know? But he's enjoying it. He misses the old days.
Won't y'all come in?
No.
They came at the wrong time though, right?
Charlie.
Because they said 6 the next day. I thought, yeah, okay, I'm confused. What a shot. That looks so cool and so menacing.
And, who are these two attractive young people?
No! Don't look at her.
Ed?
Amy Peterson.
Remember that picture that they had that looks like Amy? Weird, huh?
Charmed.
Charlie, that's your girlfriend. You defend her. Fight him.
Get ready to run. I'll protect you with this.
Can you tell if it's holy water through fire?
Ah, there.
Ah, it's just tap water. Oh my gosh. How dare you?
Well now, Charlie. You saw that.
I know they said
Convinced now that
that they told him that it was just going to be tap water, but I thought maybe they'd lie just to get him to do it.
Oh, Charlie.
Did no one see him back off? Ooh, what the heck? I love him so much. He's such a good vampire. I just love the lines that he delivers that out of context it just sounds like he's just talking, but to Charlie it's evil. I love it.
I'm taking up much too much of your time. Thank you so much. Come along now.
Okay, I was gonna say earlier, do vampires
We
have
are.
like
Thank you.
an allure to them? You know, is that why Amy is attracted to this guy? Is he like casting a spell on her in a way?
Where you going, Pencil Dick?
Home.
No way. We walk Amy home first.
He's always so happy. He gets insulted by being called Pencil Dick. Oh, what a strange man. I love him.
Please just stick with this, all right?
Forget it. You may be
The
cheap
alley
as
looks
shit,
like the
but I'm
same
not.
alley that's used in every single movie, you know? It looks like the alley that was used at the start of Child's Play. It looks like the alley that was used in Terminator. Just the generic movie alley.
Bit by a vampire? There are no such things as vampires, fruitcake.
There's one right above you right now. I love the sound effects. Okay, but didn't you hear him say there's no such thing? Why would you go after him? He doesn't believe in you. He has no harm to you at all. Run. 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 When he appears... Why'd you stop running? Why are you sitting in the trash? He flew. Oh no. That's actually the worst. I thought that the guy was gonna fly in bat form and fly somewhere else, almost like he teleported, but now he's just gonna creepy like walk into this alley. No! Oh, I thought he was gonna walk through the smoke. That scared me a little bit.
What was that?
They're gonna think he was just playing jokes.
Well, what else would it be?
That exploded right in front of their faces and they didn't notice it. Why don't they stay with all these people? I feel like he wouldn't attack them. And there's so many people. Ah, see? He's like teleporting around now. I feel like he's going in bat form.
Who is it? Me, Evil Ed.
No!
What do you want?
Hurry, there's a vampire out here. Let me in.
You're the vampire. Now.
Peter Vincent, the great vampire killer.
Obviously he's a fake. Ow. Oh, wow. That's good. That's a good practical effect.
I'm really scared.
I am not going to let him get you.
I feel like Amy's gonna get got. Actually, no, I don't think she will be. See, I feel like she's getting drawn to him in a way. Why is he doing zigzags across? Is it windy out there or something? Everyone's like jumping up and down and they're doing like this slow, sensual dance. Is she fighting it? Is she fighting the trance? I feel like she is. Yes. Yes, go Amy. Go Amy. I love her hair, by the way. I haven't mentioned that yet. I love her hair. Oh my god, I was wondering. I was like, where is he? But those are like mirror shots. I love that so much. And she's starting to notice. She's starting to break free of the trance. The man has no neck anymore. Imagine if you're dying on the ground and just this amazing happy song is just playing around you, you know? That'd be so sad. It's like she can keep going like in and out of the trance, you know? Like when she can't see him, she's kind of snapped out of it, but when he's in her presence sort of deal, it's like boom, trance.
You still want me to help you? Yes!
Oh, that's so special.
The great vampire killer! That is a character in a movie!
Obviously. Peter, you have to help, man. You know what? At least she got to lay on a blanket. At least she didn't just lay on the hardwood floor. Although there is a mattress right beside her. Why couldn't she just sit on that? Okay. If you bite Amy, I'll stake you myself. I feel like she's in control now, and she's just trying to... Oh no, maybe not. No! Don't even. I'm staking you myself, my guy. That is the end of your life right there. I cannot believe you did this to Amy. I didn't think... Oh, I was uncomfortable with the kissing scene because I didn't feel like she was in control. I thought she was in a trance, and then for a second I was like, oh, maybe she is. Maybe she is in control and she's just waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. But I was wrong. She was not. Charlie, there's no point anymore. Amy is dead.
Peter Vincent, ready to do battle
Yes.
with the undead.
Yes, Peter. I love this man. This old man is my hero. He's so good.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
He's realizing that he's living his character in real life. That's so cool. Dude, this house is so cool. I haven't commented on it yet, but the house is really cool and really creepy. Don't wimp out on me, Peter. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Interesting. Why can't he touch that cross?
You have to have faith.
Oh, yeah. Vincent, you have a gun for a reason.
God, the phone wires have been cut. I know.
He looks awesome, but so creepy. She said she was working the night shift. Do you remember that? She did say that. Dude, a wooden stake right there. Or just get a pencil, because apparently vampires are weak against pencils. Nice. Nice. Dude, the practical effects are good. I miss practical effects like this. Ew, 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 ew. Stake him again. A stake to the heart would kill anyone, though, not just a vampire. Why was that weirdly intense and sad?
Here. You're gonna need it just before dawn.
She's a vampire. Oh, God. For God's sake. Poor Amy. Why would you bring her face right next to your neck though? That was a dumb decision. Yes. I like the confidence. Oh. A lot of smoke coming out of that house. There might be a fire.
Grandpa, let's get out of here. We can't. Look.
Can you reverse the vampire spell?
So far, everything has been like it was in the movies. We just have to keep hoping.
I like that it's all movie logic. I kind of like that. It's just fun because then audiences know what to expect. He wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. You're an idiot.
Just bluffing.
What? 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 It's like Michael Myers up in here. Oh, what? How is he still going? Is he a vampire or something? He's definitely dead. Vampire or human, he's dead for sure. But there's no way he's a human. What the heck, is he a zombie or something? Ew. Ew. This looks really good though. Okay, so was he a vampire? I don't understand what he was. I'm gonna be honest. Can someone please let me know what he was? Because I'm a little confused.
To awake.
No, what if they have to kill Amy? I am not ready for this trauma if they have to do that. Lock the doors, close the doors, and lock the doors. Did her hair get a lot longer, or was it just like curled up into a big bunch?
Charlie!
That was kind of sick. That was kind of a sick jump.
Mr. Vincent, remember?
It's dawn, it's the sunlight, it's gonna kill him. It's gonna go through the window. I got chills. That was good. You could see the faith because of dawn. Oh, it's a new day.
You're out of time.
You're out of time. I love it. Oh, that's gross. That is horrifying. Charlie did nothing. Oh, nice. No, it's Amy. It's flippin' dippin' Amy. But is she a vampire? Aww, Amy, man. You have to kill him. You have to kill the guy. No, you dropped it? Oh, God. That's so gross. Oh my God, that actually terrified me. Amy is terrifying. Why would you stop? He's safe. Isn't this the basement? Isn't this in the basement? So how is there just random glass? Ooh! Like a comet sailing through the cosmos. Oh, that looked good. That looked really cool. That was sick. That was a sick explosion. What if she was still a vampire and just killed them? And look, her hair's up again. I like it. What if it's Amy, Charlie, and then Peter Vincent sitting there just hanging out watching a movie? I guess it's not, but that'd be funny. Oh my God, please. That'd be hilarious if aliens moved in next door. That would be so good. I really want an alien to appear. What is that though? I kind of want it to be an alien or another, I don't know, I don't want it to be another vampire either, but an alien would have been really funny. And that was my reaction to Fright Night, the 1985 horror comedy starring Chris Sarandon, William Ragsdale, Amanda Bearse, Roddy McDowall, and Stephen Geoffreys. Yeah, I think that is everyone. Wait, oh yeah, okay, I was gonna say who played Peter, but it was Roddy. It was my guy Roddy. That was a really enjoyable movie, and as I said at the start, vampire movies aren't usually my thing, but I really enjoyed it, especially the last act of this movie. Once they got to the vampire's house, I was having a blast with this movie, but I think what really made this movie for me were the characters, especially Peter. I don't know why, but I love Peter so much, but I'll get to him later, but I love Peter so much. And then the effects in this movie were also so good. Like I'll get to that later, but first, before I get into anything, I'm going to talk about the reviews for this movie, because I think that it's interesting to look at the reviews sometimes. One second, my mom's calling. Okay, yeah, so the reviews for this movie are very interesting. So audience score is a 7.1, but critics score on Rotten Tomatoes is a 92%. So it's really interesting to me how much critics really liked this movie and how much critics kind of raved about this movie. 92% is huge. And then audiences are more like, I guess audiences are less forgiving than critics. I feel like audiences definitely criticize more than critics. I know that critics always get a bad rep for being too analytical, but honestly, I think audiences are way more analytical and way more critical when it comes to movies. 7.1. I think this movie does deserve a 7.1, though. I think a 7.1 is a good score for this film. Getting into the movie itself, though, I'm going to start with the score. The score for this movie was good. The credit song, the Fright Night song that was written for this movie that played during the credits was so fun. It was such a good dance song, and I kind of want to download it just for Halloween period. I don't know if I'd listen to it outside of Halloween, but for the October season, for the spooky season, I think that song is great. But the rest of the score I thought was good. It wasn't super noticeable for me, though. There are some times when I listen to a score, I really notice the score, and the score is kind of this main thing in the movie. Like, for example, when I watch Sunshine, there's this part in the movie where the score really, really shines, and the score is kind of, the score and the visuals together make the scene. And there was no scene in this movie where the score made the scene for me, you know? It had to do with other things. The score was in the background and it helped the scene, but the score never made the scene for me. So I thought the score was fine. It wasn't anything to write home about, though. The thing that I liked the most about this movie were the practical effects. The practical effects were great, and I didn't even expect that to happen because, again, I thought that this was a Disney movie, and going into the movie, I knew it was 16 plus. But even at 16 plus, I didn't expect practical effects to be as gross as they were. Maybe it is 16 plus with age. Maybe it was 18 plus before when it came into theaters in 1985, and then it got knocked down to a 16 plus. But there were some really gross practical effects, and some of them reminded me of Indiana Jones. If you've seen the first Indiana Jones, you know the very famous face melt scene where the Nazis open the Ark. I think it's like the Ark of the Covenant or something like that. I forget what it's called. Maybe it's not the Ark of the Covenant, but it's the Ark of something. And they open it, and then the light comes out, and then their face melts. And it reminded me of that, of like how they did that effect, where they have, or maybe it was even in the third movie as well, where they have like layers of different things that melt at different temperatures, and then they slowly melt the face one by one to reveal the different layers. That's how it felt like to me in the scene in Fright Night where the guy's face gets melted when he gets staked. I thought that the practical effects in this movie were really, really good, and they were really surprising because I thought I was going into this movie even though I knew it wasn't a kids movie, because I was going into this movie thinking it was a kids movie, I wasn't expecting these amazing and kind of gross practical effects. So when they did appear, I was very, very happy with them. And my favorite one was probably when Evil turned back from dog to human after he had been staked. And that was just there was something so tragic about it, but the effects looked so good. they look so good and they look so real. And I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they managed to make a dog man that was like oozing blood and pus and stuff look realistic, but they did, and it was like props to the props team for making the practical effects look as good as they were. Something else I liked about this movie were the characters and kind of the emotion that was in this movie. This movie had a lot of heart, which I did not expect from a vampire movie, but there were some moments, maybe not a lot of moments, but there were some moments in this movie where you could really feel the heart that the characters had for each other and kind of the heart that the movie had, especially, I'm going to talk about Evil's death scene again, but when Evil died, usually in movies, especially in horror movies and creature movies, monster movies, when the monster dies or a monster in that movie dies, it is sent off, like the monster dies and the hero is cheering. The hero will deliver this final blow with an intense enthusiasm, even if it's like, for example, in a vampire movie, final blow to the vampire, everyone's like, yeah, let's kill this thing. But in Evil's case, and something that I found very unique to this movie and something that I found very touching and very effective was when Evil died. I guess his name's Ed, but I'm going to call him Evil because everyone called him Evil in the movie. When Evil died, it was a sad moment. And I did not expect that, and I did not expect it to touch me as much as it did, because I loved Evil, and he was a vampire, and I assumed when he was lying on the ground, I thought he was going to try and kill him, but actually he was actually asking for help. He was asking for help, and maybe even asking for death, and it kind of was really sad, and I did not expect that from a vampire, nevertheless a vampire in a vampire movie, to have their death be so effective, because they are not, like, even Peter, who was standing over Ed as he was dying by the stake, Ed was crying. Ed did not move to try and finish him. Peter knew that Ed was going to die, and Peter just kind of sat there knowing that he couldn't do anything, but Peter also in a way was scared. He was happy he was survived, but he was also sad that he killed this kid. And yes, the kid was a vampire, but you could still kind of see it in Peter's face that he had killed Ed. He had killed this kid that he had been with, that he had seen and talked to just earlier that night. And it was a very touching scene. And there was another moment when Amy confronted Charlie, and Amy was like, "You promised that this wouldn't happen," and then Charlie drops the cross. That was another little heartfelt moment, and it wasn't as effective as Ed's death, as Evil's death, but man, there was some really good heart-wrenching moments in this movie as well that I just did not expect, and I thought that was really good, and I think that they worked because of the characters and because of the script. I thought the script was really good, and I thought that they made the characters feel like friends and feel like high schoolers in a way, especially with Amy and Charlie's relationship. I thought that worked really well, and it did feel like they were a high school couple. It, like the bickering, the arguments that didn't really make any sense, and I liked the character development that by the end of the movie, Amy was like, "What's wrong?" instead of just blaming whatever Charlie's doing on herself in a way, being like, "Oh, he doesn't want me, like, why is he ignoring me?" and stuff like that, instead of doing that, being like, "Oh, what's wrong?" like asking him the question instead of getting all mad about it. And Charlie grew in the relationship as well, so I really enjoyed that, and I thought that the script did a good job with the characters. The one of the biggest complaints I have with this movie is also in the final act. As much as I enjoyed the final act, the thing that I didn't like about the final act, and it's actually the same criticism that I had with Child's Play, which also was directed by Tom Holland, so maybe it's just what Tom Holland does, but I thought that the final fight between Jerry and Charlie and Peter lasted too long. I thought that it overstayed its welcome, and just like Child's Play, if you have not seen Child's Play, spoilers, but if you just like Child's Play, when Chucky comes back to life three times, it felt like Jerry should have died 10 minutes before he actually did. When Jerry was standing in front of the big window, and then the sunlight goes through and Dawn's appearing, and Peter gets that moment of confidence, which gave me chills, which was such a good character moment. That was when I thought Jerry should die. Even when he turned into a bat, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. But as soon as he came out of bat form and went to the basement, I was like, are you kidding me? We're going into the basement. As much as I enjoyed the basement fight and we got that heartfelt scene between Charlie and Amy, I thought Jerry should have died on the staircase, or when Peter was like, like, I have confidence now, I have faith, or when Jerry was in bat form and attacking Charlie and Peter, which, by the way, Charlie was such a wimp. He's like, I'm going to help, and then he gets bitten once, and then he's like, I'm not going to help anymore. Like, what the heck? But yeah, I thought that the fight just lasted too long, and it just started to get a little tedious. Like, okay, come on, let's just kill Jerry. Let's go. So I wish that it did end longer. That was one of my biggest criticisms. My other criticism is just kind of the pacing of this movie. It kind of felt very slow at the start, and then it kind of picked up, and then I don't know, it just kind of, it was this weird pacing because the final act was just so action heavy and there was so much happening, but I felt like the first, I don't know, half an hour of the movie felt very slow for some reason, even though stuff did happen. Like, there were definitely like vampire attacks and Charlie was thrown into a closet. Like, there was stuff happening, there's action, but for some reason it just felt slow to me the first half an hour, and then it started to pick up especially once Ed became a vampire. I felt like that's when the movie really started to pick up steam, and it's just steamrolled to the end. But up until that point, I thought that it was just it kind of was like walking to there, and then it just started sprinting to the end. I don't know, that's just how I felt about it. Okay, getting into the acting now. I'm just gonna talk, actually there's so many people though, but Stephen Geoffrey as Ed, he was so good. He was my favorite character, and again, his death was so touching. Actually, I don't know if he was my favorite character, but out of the 3 kids, when none of them were vampires, he was my favorite. He was so eccentric. He was like very strange, and he laughed so much, but he was also, I don't know, he was just so different than the rest of the characters that I liked him a lot because of that difference. But when he died, it was so touching, and I really wish he hadn't died, but I'm glad that he did die and then stayed dead. There was a moment in the movie where I thought he'd come back to life, and I was not there for it, but I'm glad that he died. I'm glad that he stayed dead. I'm not glad he died, but I'm glad that he stayed dead. And I thought Stephen Geoffrey did an amazing job as Ed, or Evil, as they call him in the movie. Roddy McDowall as Dowall, I think that's how you say his last name, as Peter Vincent. What a good character. He reminded me of Lockhart from Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets. If you have not seen that movie, you should go check that one out. It's a very good Harry Potter movie. Just watch all of them. They're just good movies. But anyways, he reminded me of Lockhart, except for one key difference where he actually was he actually could do stuff. And Lockhart in Harry Potter Chamber of the Secrets can't do anything. He's just a fake, just like Peter Vincent. He's a fake. He just pretends he can do stuff. But the difference between Peter Vincent is that, like, he's not pretending to be a vampire hunter. Like, the vampire hunter is his character, and the kids just believed he was a vampire hunter. So I guess he's not really like Lockhart in that way. I guess my comparison is just off. He just kind of felt like him at the start of the movie, and then he just kind of was playing up this role, like, yeah, I am Peter Vincent, the vampire hunter, until an actual vampire thing happened and he like ran away. So I was like, oh, he's like Lockhart. But I love that he had his moment to shine. I love that he like brought up the courage to fight these vampires, to help Charlie, to help Amy. He killed Ed, which was awesome, but also a very sad moment. And then when he stood up to Jerry on the staircase, I got chills. I don't know, it was such a good character moment. I thought Roddy did a great job. Amanda, sorry, I was saying her last name and first name together. Amanda Bearse as Amy Peterson. She was awesome. When she was a vampire, she was so cool. When she had that giant mouth, that was really terrifying. I thought her chemistry with Charlie was really good, but I thought her chemistry with Ed was even better. I just thought that those two characters together as friends were an amazing duo, and they bounced off of each other really well. She was really fun as Amy. I thought that Amanda did a great job. William Ragsdale as Charlie was great. He was a great main character, although I thought he was a little bit dull compared to Amy and Ed and Peter Vincent and Jerry. I just thought he was my least favorite character. I don't know. I just thought he was a little dull in the movie compared to the rest. He was a good main character, but he wasn't my favorite character. But I did think he did a great job. He had great chemistry with Amy. He was fun. He had a fun bounce off chemistry with Jerry. And I just thought he did great. And all of his scenes with Peter Vincent were also beautiful, but I think that's just because Peter Vincent was in them. I love that character so much. Chris Sarandon as Jerry, the main vampire, he was so good. He was so good. I know I've seen this actor in other things before. I don't know where I've seen this actor in other things before, but this man was legendary. He was such a good vampire. From the moment you see him, you're like, he's a vampire. He has to be. He's just too vampire-like, you know? I don't know how to describe it. His chin is too chiseled to not be a vampire, but he was so good in this role. I don't know. He just made the movie better because he was a vampire. I don't know what else you want me to say. I thought Chris did a great job. And that is my reaction and review to Fright Night, the 1985 movie. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to these wonderful, beautiful, amazing people right here for supporting me and supporting my channel. It really does mean a lot. I won't be watching any of the new Fright Nights. I've heard they're not very good, but I'm glad I finally checked this classic movie out. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for my next movie reaction.